All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Welcome if you're live. If you got any comments or questions, we'll follow along on the chat as well as we can. If you're not watching this live, as I imagine some of you will be, feel free to reach out to us with any questions or comments. So we're really excited today. This is the first of what we hope will be many of these that are a product announcement. And John Zurich, my partner, has been doing some amazing work, and we're going to highlight a little bit of that today in two big areas. And just to say, there's already stuff that you'll see in the iBlueprint platform of stuff that's roadmap. We'll cover roadmap a little bit at the end. Um, but want to show you some really core functionality to the iBlueprint platform. And really, um, just to contextualize some of this for a second, part of the reason we've built iBlueprint is we're not seeing the productivity gains as of yet with Gen AI. We've seen data from MIT and others that says 95% of projects are not having any effective P&L. A lot of projects are not getting past the experimentation or pilot phase. Um, and there's a disconnect between what managers and leaders of organizations sort of are experiencing or want to experience with AI versus what staff are confronted with, which is often a blank prompt window in a Gen AI tool with an expectation. Okay, well, what do I do with this? So part of our hypothesis is that we need to give people better starting points, and you'll see those today in the libraries we have set up with AI tools in them for both public libraries and uh, organization or company libraries. And the other part of what we think is that the collaboration and knowledge sharing that drives productivity and impact since the beginning of time, since the beginning of Homo sapiens, that we're not really leveraging that in AI as of yet. Everyone's off in their own silos, prompting with an LLM, and not enough of that work is happening together with humans and teams of humans and AI. And so you're going to see some of that functionality today that we can deliver for companies that really want to lean in and get upskill their teams, get their teams working together on AI um, as a big part of this. And then John will cover off next a pretty sophisticated but yet easy to use chatbot builder. And when we started building the iBlueprint platform, neither one of us wanted to build a chatbot builder. But the demands from some of our early customers was like, please build a chatbot. I have a use case, and where I want to deploy this use case is in a chatbot format. And so John's going to show you some really great tools that are super easy to use, that you can plug in any LLM into, any model that you want to run the chatbot. And so he's going to go through some of that after I go through some of the collaboration stuff. So really excited to share what we've been working on. And just to say too, at the outset, uh, this is stuff that we're working with live customers on right now. And so it is sort of, it's production ready. It's ready to go. We are supporting uh, government agencies and colleges and nonprofits, um, on the platform right now. And so what you're seeing is it's not vaporware or anything like that. It's real and can deliver real value to you and your team today. So let me, John, say hi.
Hello.
And
How are you? How
Uh,
is everyone today?
maybe remind us a little bit about yourself, and then I'm going to jump in and we'll start the day.
Yeah, I mean, I think iBlueprint has was driven out of a lack of sharing, a lack of those kinds of things, but also from a central point of leaving the human in AI and continuing to make humans part of AI and leverage ultimately wanting to have tools and tool sets available for humans to help other humans, but leverage AI as a tool. And I think that's the goal of what we're doing, and looking forward to showing you a little bit of what we've got.
Sweet. All right. With no further ado, let's jump in. Um, okay. So this is the iBlueprint homepage. What we've been able to do, and I'm going to select a different organization here, um, is we've been able to put all of your AI use and building tools in one place. Um, and so we're couple things to show at the outset. One is that we have an organizational prompt library. And so if you've got somebody, you're in marketing, you're marketing analyst, and they've done all this great work, and they leave, what happens to all their prompts and all the work they've done with ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or whatever it is you're using? What happens to all their work? How do they share that work with colleagues so that you can work on it together? And so, what one of the foundational elements to iBlueprint is that there is both this this public um, library of prompts that is searchable and provide really great starting points, right? Um, that if you've got a use case, our recommendation is search the library first, and you're probably going to find something that's really useful to you. And once you do, and you think it's going to be not only useful to you, but useful to your organization, put it into your organization's prompt library. So the first thing I'm going to demonstrate is that very feature. So this is something we did this week around Giving Tuesday. Yeah, we thought it was a neat prompt. I've used it in other contexts that essentially says, give me advice on where to, I'm interested in these kind of organizations in this region. Give me advice about the well-performing nonprofits so that I can give to those organizations. Try it out. It really works. It's in our prompt library. But let's say I wanted to customize that for my organization. I'm doing an organizational giving campaign. What I can do is fork it, and I can put it into my organization, which in this case, we're going to use HSAI. And it will then save this prompt into my organizational library. So I'm claiming the prompt from the public library, having found something that's really good that I can work on, and I'm putting it into my organizational prompt library. Um, and so here it is. This is the fork version of it, and then I can play around with this with my team now, right? I can edit it, and it's going to um, do a revision history and make sure that I've got different versions accessible. And I can do things like annotate it with my team. So we can put notes on the prompt. We can really work together to hone this prompt. When we hear terms like prompt engineering or prompting, I think for me, I often say the word, I've sculpted this prompt. And what I'm leaning into is that prompting is really an art form, and it really requires a back and forth with the AI to sort of get it to a place that I feel pretty good about. And what we what we're positing here with annotations and putting it into an organization or a company library is you should be working together, right? And eventually, once you've got this to a place where you feel like it's ready for everybody in your organization to use, you can mark it as such. And this provides a layer of governance to say, hey, these are the official prompts we want you to use with these models to get the outcomes that we know are possible with AI. So instead of just going off in your own version of ChatGPT or Claude, here's the thing we actually want you to use. And I think we've demonstrated this elsewhere, but just to say, you can run this prompt within the system with either our open source LLMs, or you can bring your own keys to that, or you can run it in any of the major LLM providers through the front end. And this will open up the window for ChatGPT and put this prompt in that window, and you can run it within ChatGPT. So you can run the prompts here in this prompt library in all kinds of different ways, whatever model, whatever LLM you've used. It's many organizations are using multiple. And I'll just say that this finally on this use case here, that for organizations that find themselves using Gemini and Claude and ChatGPT, this provides a connection mechanism so that you can sort of keep all your prompts together, well governed in one place, and that you can decide to run them in different systems. So maybe your marketing team uses Gemini, and your engineering team's using Claude. You can sort of keep all that though together here in this place. A couple other things to note in the org home and collaboration home, you can build different teams and different projects, and then assign permissions to different prompts or different AI pieces or AI tools rather, into those projects or teams. And so there's that part of the collaboration we're enabling. And then there's other things here like blueprints and MCP and AI connections. These are things that like we'll get into in a future session. In a minute, I'm going to hand off to John to talk about chatbots and knowledge base. And I think there's some really exciting features there for you to take a look at. I think the other thing I'll say, two other things I'll say here is that, as we said before, you can bring your own AI connections in for your team to use. And so again, if you had some folks that were on AWS and you had other folks that were using OpenAI, you can get those all in and build your tools off of those LLMs here. And we also have a run history across the different AI tools. So from a governance perspective, for those prompts and those chatbots and blueprints that you run within the system, we're keeping a history of all that. And so that's both useful to like go back and look for. It also starts to create memory for your organization. There's lots of use cases for why that run history would be really important to you and your organization. So that's what we have in terms of some of the basics of collaborating together on AI in an org home. I'm now going to continue to drive on the screen, but hand it over to John to talk about chatbots. Can't hear you, John.
Chatbots are always a kind of an interesting thing where the they're kind of that baseline, right? They're where they're the standard interface for AI, because I think a lot of AI was it's how we tested it. It's how we tested the the models and the training and everything like that. So chatbots, uh, the concepts of chatbots, what we wanted to do is get to a point where we could create, uh, public chatbots or chatbots that were allowed us to drive different conversation, right? And for example, the conversation of donors, giving donor advisor, uh, it, it gives you the ability to say, okay, not yes, I want to create a chatbot around this, and but not only that, what do I want to do with it, right? How do I want to manage, this information, and who should have access to it, right? What organizations should have access to it? Which ones, shouldn't, and to what level? Do I want somebody that's helping us build those things, uh, or do I want something that's basically isolated to us? Yeah, and again, with this concept of you know this concept of having specific connections, and AI connections. Uh, what we've done is we've said AI connections are mostly the same, right? So you have different providers. A provider would be somebody like, uh, you know uh, anybody that's opening their APIs. OpenAI, Anthropic, Gemini, and Olama, right? So Olama is kind of an open source version, but it runs under the same types of APIs as OpenAI, and and so what we can do with that is we can switch back and forth between uh, you know different AI sources, and so what we've done is we just between those providers, we've created what's called AI connections. And AI connections they're kind of powerful in that we can switch models, we can switch providers, we can switch a lot of different things, and it gives us the opportunity for growth. So if you want to move forward to if you scroll down. Yeah. So in the system prompt configuration, there's the AI connections. The system prompt, you know, uh, then this is where you can choose a prompt from our prompt library, or you can write your own, and basically add the different information that's uh, centered around this. Steven's showing you right now the prompt selection. So if you want to create a prompt out of our prompt library, whether it's your organization's prompt library or whether it's one of our public ones, you can add it to yeah, and then you can add it to the prompt blocks, and basically at this level, you can stack different prompts together. So if you've got one prompt that's kind of doing what you want, and another prompt that's got what you need, and then you can stack them. You can bring them together. But ultimately, a lot of the time, we want to add our knowledge base to 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 this to this. And originally, we were like, oh well, you just create a knowledge base, and that's specifically for chatbots. And what we've done is we've kind of re-architected and relocated our knowledge base to kind of a central location for adding knowledge to different places. And you, and so what we've done is you can centralize your knowledge and create a singular place, whether it be from documents that you want to upload, and then what it does is it turns it into something that is more AI friendly, right? So the documents themselves, the text is great, but ultimately, if you want to turn your document into a AI friendly format, this helps you do that. This helps you do that and provides it a tool to leverage what's called retrieval augmented generation. So when we upload data and we say, "Hey, we want to bring this data across," it's brought across in a way that is uh, allows the search of the information to be a part of the query that uh, and inject the data into the prompts uh, for your chatbot. So if you want to go back over to the chatbots, if you hit link, you should be able to do the drop down. Yeah, and you should be able to pull in information. And the other thing that we wanted to do was create. Uh, uh, do you want to try the public one?
It's the public. Which one is that?
Yeah, the drivers.
Oh, they're,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
okay. And so we've got a little hiccup, but it basically what we want to do is be able to link this data and make it available and searchable, and then you can test your query. You can test you can test querying that information, uh, right there before you even test the chat itself. But that's just one way to inject data. Another way to inject data is APIs. So if you instead of and it'll be slightly clearer once we get to the next step. If you want to have data that's specifically based off of somebody's user information, or it's based off of some kind of real time data, and you want to inject real time data into the prompt that you're chatting with, the API sources gives you that ability, and then that ability is really then leveraged within uh, this. Uh, it's a way of configuring a deployable chatbot. What Steven's showing now is the ability to change the title of the chat, and then you can switch between streaming and you can switch between streaming and where all the data shows up at once. So depending on your use case, you can leverage that. He's also showing the ability to have it floating down in the corner, or you can have it in line. Uh, and you can customize the theme. You can customize the colors, text colors, the different fonts that are generally available. I would stay away from Comic Sans, but that's just me personally. But and then there's you can fit it to the dimensions of your web page. A legal disclaimer, and you can put a legal disclaimer on there if because AI chatbots, you know, do hallucinate, and you want to make sure that your users know that while this can be extremely helpful, it can make mistakes, and we need to make sure that they're aware of that. Uh, then from the meta config, there's a unique capability in which you can pull prompt libraries, and somebody else can manage that prompt, from from the prompt library, and you can pull it in. You can pull it in at any time. Uh, Same thing with document sets. So by default, all of the documents that were linked, that you've pulled in from your knowledge base, that were linked from your knowledge base, it makes all of those documents available. But if you want to filter and only have certain things available, then you can do that as well. So when he said justice for common sense, uh, and so right here above, kind of above this, um, uh, there's also a way to make adjustments and pull in information uh, that's maybe otherwise just available to the APIs themselves. So you can actually custom inject data into the APIs. And what Stephen was about to show you is saving a deployment. Because saving a deployment gives you the ability to say, okay, I've customized all my APIs, I've customized my data, I've customized my all the other kind of information around the title and colors and things like that. And now he can save a deployment. So if he saves the deployment, that deployment then shows up in the deployment tab, right? And so this gives us the ability to then pull that deployment back, right? You could say, okay, I want to try it with different another set of colors, or I want to try it with a larger window, and it lets you have those kinds of things. It also lets you do something here on this that allows you to protect the permissions, so that if you do not want uh, somebody stealing your chatbot and putting it on their website, you can say, I only want my chatbot to work on my website. And then what that does is it adds what's called a CORS rule, and it gives you, it protects that chatbot from right now. The only place that that chatbot will work is www.humanservices.ai. And then right below it is the code that you would put on humanservices.ai to actually make it work. You just copy and paste it into whatever you know system, and there's little instructions below if you want to change theming and change things like that. But there's some additional power if we scroll all the way up to the top, uh, that under the actions, there's the ability to test scenarios, to create test scenarios. So say you want your your chatbot to respond in a specific way, right? Uh, and in that chatbot, you you want to have a test, a way, a repeatable test. Uh, you know, yeah, link. There's a link to, yeah, okay. And then now manage. So what you can do is you can say, you can pretend to be a user, and you can say, yeah, give me information on uh, climate organization, and then the expected answer should involve something from something about Cleveland, something about and something about the the Cuyahoga River not catching on fire, and 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 so it should respond in a specific way. So when you add this question, now you've done is you've given it the ability to say, ask this question, and I'm going to get a specific answer, right? And then yeah, if you want to go back, and then yeah, you can run these on different scenarios, and this is actually brand new because we've added some things to it, so hopefully it works. The what it should do is it should go hit that climate with uh, with the selected um, information with the selected AI, and it should give you a result that says it is this X amount similar to it. And then in that result, it'll amalgamate the information. It'll tell you how many tokens you were using. It will tell you, some other good information around those test scenarios. And then lastly, you can view the logs. You can view the conversation. What was the information? How much is the system prompt using? What are the responses that it's giving, and why? So it's as much transparency as we can put into it. We've tried to put into the logs. Um, that gives you the understanding of what the user said, what was responded, and what was the system prompt that was driving any other information. And that's
That's
that's what
great.
in a nutshell.
Thanks, John. I mean, that was as you can see, there's a lot of functionality built into this chatbot builder, and you can be very simple about it by just adding one of your prompts, and then it's going to generate your code for you, and you can drop that into your website. You can change the colors, as John was saying. Um, or if you've got some significant business needs where you need very particular knowledge, John showed you that we've got knowledge bases that can be applied to chatbots that can also be applied to other parts of the platform where you're connecting to your Google Drive, your SharePoint library, or you're uploading a set of documents, or you're um, connecting via API to a database. Like all of those things are available to you to get your data, good quality data, into the system to be able to get really good results from a chatbot. And as John was saying, like we also have the ability through this API connection to inject data at runtime about an individual to give more personalized questions or personalized answers to questions, right? That could also apply to like what page is the chatbot on right now, and being able to inject that in so that it's context aware and can answer questions about that particular page it's on, right? So there's all kinds of potential use cases, business use cases that we can enable, um, and you could have with the multi deployments that John was showing here that you could have if you're in 50 states and each state has a different set of rules. You off the same base chatbot, you could do a 50 states here. If you're in these 5 regions or cities, there might be particular aspects to this. You could have different domains of knowledge that apply to this audience but not this audience, but you want to keep the same base and you don't want to create 100 chatbots. You create one chatbot with multiple deployments. And so you'd see that like this could get really sophisticated based on your needs really quickly. Um, but you can also, connect your AI, whether, let's say it's your APIs from OpenAI, build your prompt, and have a chatbot, and sort of have that ready to go in 5 minutes to put into your website. So you can be as simple or as sophisticated or complicated as you want to with this functionality. And so John's done an incredible job sort of building this out. All right, so that's what we wanted to show you today. Roadmap wise, just to say, there are lots of other things that are in the platform already or under development, and so we intend to do a monthly update for you, with the new features and functions that we have, and keep you up to date. And we're really excited to see what you build with AI with this. And so thanks so much for joining us, and do reach out with any questions or comments. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.